Hello everyone, and it is myself, Professor Scott, and Headless Fritz, because I'm repairing his skull upstairs, and actually he doesn't need his skull this week, so we are looking at his pelvis. So there you are. So actually the pelvis is... I quite like drawing the pelvis. I tell you, I like drawing it a lot more than I like drawing the rib cage, which I know some of you were only managing to do the frontal ribs, you know, as if the person was wearing a piece of armour just with the rib, and there was no ribs at the back. There was no sense of a cage in some of the drawings. Some of them were magnificent. Some of them were just... the student's ability was only to draw the front of the ribs. So if that was you, you know, try and see what was preventing you from creating that three-dimensional look so that it is a cage, you know, there's stuff can go up inside it. Luckily with the pelvis you don't have that same problem. There it is. It's just, to me it's a kind of butterfly shape, you know. Let me see. There's the two wings here, these appendages, and they connect in together. There's these holes here, and it has the sockets where the tops of the femur leg bones attach into. So I can't really hold Fritz. I'm going to set him over here, so you'll have to be aware that he sits in the distance there. There he sits on top of the lampshade, and here I am. Yeah, there you are. You can see everything. So I'm going to use this is what you have for this week, and like every week, be aware of other images of this on Google Images. You know, just go to skeleton pelvis, look it up, and you will get various shots of that. You can see it attaches into what you did last week, which was the rib cage here, and some of you did the bottom of the spine. The sternum cervical is at the top. Here's the bottom, the sternum spine. So without further ado, I'll just quickly see if I can do this for you. So I'm going to make it into a butterfly shape. And that's one half of it there, quickly done. And I'm going to create the kind of little bit of the socket here where the top of the femur, the thigh, and the hip bone is connected in here. So the idea of doing all the skeleton is that you become aware of how the whole anatomy of the body fits together. So we are doing the skeleton like a jigsaw, piece by piece, assembling it together and giving you a profound knowledge of how the whole thing interconnects. So I'm going to put that in there like that. I have this here now, and there's that part of the bone there that's hollow. Now this part in here, it's easier to show it here, that's called the coccyx, or the sacrum. It is a rudimentary part of the body, possibly where we once had a tail. So there you are. Hence it is called, if you don't call it the sacrum or the coccyx, which, you know, if you fell on it when you were a kid, your parents probably didn't say, oh, did you fall on your sacrum? Or did you fall on your coccyx? No, they would say, oh, did you fall on your tailbone? So it obviously, you know, had a tail many many years ago in the evolution of humanity. So I do it in halves here, you know, and I'm going to put this thing. See, when I do a drawing, I just feel my way into it, you know. I mean, you may have a different way of drawing. Everybody works differently. You can see the way I'm holding this drawing implement. You know, I'm not holding it like a pencil when I'm writing my name. I'm holding it very much like something that I'm wanting to have more flexible use out of. So that's important no matter what tool you're using. Try and use it in a way that gives you greater flexibility. So I'm going to do the coccyx business a bit darker, like Albinus has done on his drawing. Now I do mine really quickly. I know some of you have done some stunning drawings of skeletons and rib cages. You know, you've really had a bit more time to spend on this. And believe me, I am acknowledging the great, great works that you are creating from this class. I'm really impressed. So, if you're like me when you're drawing, you're correcting all the time you're going around. And I think that's what makes a drawing more interesting, is that you can see mistakes, you can see corrections, you can see that the artist, while they are creating, is evolving. It's a constant change. Life is always changing, life is always evolving. And so should a drawing or a painting have that same feeling of movement. So the other wing of the butterfly. You'll never look at the butterfly the same again after this. Oh, yeah. I'm creating here at the edge here. See, I've got the right one. Just for the exercise for next week, which will be the femur, which is the hip, the big bone coming from the leg into the hip, where the top of the hip bone goes into the socket of the pelvis. That's that. So this is really quick. You're welcome to spend as long as you like on this and make it even better than what Professor Scott is fumbling around with just now. One of my students from last semester has got her exhibition of her art opening up. I taught her, and she has her exhibition opening up in Chelsea, Manhattan, on the 30th of September, the end of this month. That's pretty good for someone who's just done one of my classes. So I'm really happy about that. She's done really well. It's fantastic news. So if you set yourself to it, you too can do it. So can you see how that's coming together? I don't know if this is making visual sense, but two butterflies, the central tailbone thing here. That's that darker piece I'm going to put in here just now. Of course, the butterflies are the pelvis bones, the wings. And there, they've got their hollow bits there. you've got those two connectors here. You can actually start doing that because you'll see it on your sketch. These two connectors here that go into the tops of the thigh bones. So how long have I spent on this? Well, between the talking and the drawing, you could subtract about 7 minutes on this. So that's not much. If you worked on this for 7 minutes the whole week, that wouldn't, no excuse for no having any time. You know, you could, of course, you could spend 7 hours on this, unlike me. I don't want to go on and on and on, and you'd fall asleep while watching this video. There we go. So, a rudimentary pelvis, and you can make it even better than I have. Remember these two butterfly wings, this here, the tailbone in the middle joining the wings together. The wings have got holes in there, and you've got these two connectors here, these sockets that are in the wings where the two bones of the thigh bones are going to attach. And of course you've got the lower part of the spine here. Attached, coming into it, so it all fits together, and that's the idea, to give you this sense of the human anatomy and a very, very basic understanding of it. You know, we're not in a biology class, we're in an art class. You see, I'm starting to get into it now. I'm wanting to put more into this, and we're already on 12 or 13 minutes, so it'll be enough for this week. So here we are. Something of the pelvis. I think I've got these quite different sizes here, so I'm going to shrink that bit down a bit. Maybe enlarge this a bit, but these are the two butterfly wings. That's going in there. And you've got the sternum in here, the tailbone, and then the two joints that fit into the femur, the upper leg, so it all fits together. So that's this week's exercise, pelvis. And you can see how I'm correcting it now. You know, I'm having a proper look at it because I've been talking to you and not really concentrating as much as I would normally, because I'm kind of like teaching and talking at the same time. And drawing. So that's it. You know, it's quite simple. We're going to do the pelvis and the connection of the hip joints into the sockets of the pelvis, including the tailbone and the lower leg. And once you finish the drawing, and you can use this, I could hardly see poor Fritz there in the distance. He was kind of obscured, but once you complete it, take a photograph of it and send it by text or email to me. And you know, if you should be able to get the text or email, it's on the blackboard, and send it to me before the 27th of September. Okay? And if any of you have not yet received the large envelope with all the documents, please contact me as soon as possible, and I will mail out yet another one to your house, and hopefully it will arrive there. But you should all have that by now, and it's fairly simple. And if you haven't got your art materials yet, you know, as I said, in this particular painting too, you're welcome to use, if you want to do the whole thing as drawings, you're welcome to do that. But if you want to do paint as well, we're going to look into that in a more intensive way than we did in the first art classes. So that's it for this week. Over and out, folks. Send in everything. Deadline Monday, the 27th of September. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much for all your welcome texts and emails. Always happy as anything to hear from you. Okay, bye for now.